All right, so today we are going to be diving into something I think really, really cool.
Yeah.
I love talking about personality dynamics,
Right.
and we're always looking at different ways to analyze
Right.
media and pop culture and books through this lens. So today we're going to be talking about Wednesday, Adams and Enid Sinclair from the Netflix show Wednesday.
Okay.
And we're going to be using them as a case study for the intj enfp pairing, which is often called the golden pair.
It's a great one.
It is a really fascinating one. And even though we're talking about fictional characters, I think there's so much that we can learn
Absolutely.
about real life dynamics
Yeah.
by looking at this.
Sure.
So to get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about like what makes this pairing so interesting and
Okay.
and kind of like the core elements that we're going to be looking at today.
Yeah. So I think what makes Wednesday and Enid so interesting as a case study for this golden pair dynamic
Yeah.
is that they really embody the classic strengths and challenges of this
Yeah.
INTJ ENFP dynamic. So, in the beginning, we see their contrasting personalities clash,
Yeah.
but ultimately they complement each other.
Right.
And that leads to a lot of personal growth for both characters.
I love that. Yeah. And it's like, even though it's, fictional and heightened,
Right.
there's still so much truth there. And I think
So much.
all of us who've been in relationships, whether they're, romantic relationships or friendships or even family relationships, can relate to that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about Wednesday. Like, how would you describe her personality and how does that connect to
Okay.
her being an INTJ?
So Wednesday, she's like a classic INTJ, right? And what really stands out to me is her incredible intuition.
Yes.
She just has this ability to kind of see beneath the surface and understand things that other people miss.
Yeah.
And in MBTI terms, we would say that her dominant cognitive function is introverted intuition,
Okay.
or NIA. And we see that throughout the entire series. Yeah. But there's one scene that I always think about that really highlights this. And it's when she's investigating
Okay.
the mysterious attacks that are happening in the woods. Remember that?
Yeah.
So she's piecing together all these seemingly unrelated clues,
Right.
like the boot prints and the historical records of the town.
Yes.
And she starts to form this theory about the creature that's responsible. And that's classic Nye, that ability to see patterns, connect the dots
Yeah.
in a way that other people just don't.
It's like she has this inner compass that's like always pointing her in the right.
Yeah, for sure. And this is where we start to see the clash between Wednesday's dominant function and Enid's dominant function.
Okay.
Because Enid, being an ENFP, leads with extroverted intuition, or now.
Okay.
And so, unlike Wednesday's more focused
Yeah.
internal intuition, Enid's intuition is much more expansive.
Okay.
She thrives on exploring all these different possibilities, brainstorming ideas, and making connections in a much more outward way.
Yes. I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she loves bouncing those ideas off of others,
Yeah.
which Wednesday finds
So true.
incredibly distracting.
Yes. So like when Enid is trying to get Wednesday to like brainstorm with her,
Yeah.
Wednesday's like, no, like
She's like, why are you talking to me?
just need to think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's such a perfect illustration of like how their approaches to
Yes,
even just like taking in information and processing information is so different.
absolutely. Yeah, Wednesday with her, Nee wants to kind of narrow things down,
Yeah, right.
hone in on like the one true answer.
Yeah.
Whereas Enid with her Nene is like keeping all the options open
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
exploring every single angle.
It's like a laser beam versus like a disco ball.
Yes. It's a great analogy.
It's so focused versus expansive.
It is. It is. And remember that scene where Enid suggests that they consult the local gossip blog for clues?
Oh my God, yeah.
And Wednesday just gives her that look.
The look of death.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
It's just perfect. It's such a perfect encapsulation of their dynamic.
It's so funny. Yeah.
The laser focus INTJ
Yeah.
versus the freewheeling ENFP.
And I love that they're roommates too. Like,
Oh, it's perfect.
Good
The
for
show
yeah.
really leans into
Right.
that contrast.
It does.
But it does make you wonder, like, how do they ever get along? Like, how do they ever manage
They
to,
function.
like, actually do anything
Yeah.
together because they're so different?
When that's where the beauty of their auxiliary functions comes in.
And that's something that we are going to explore more in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, I am hooked. I can't wait to hear more about
It's going to be good.
those auxiliary functions.
It is.
And how this golden pair really starts to shine.
Yeah.
But we'll have to save that for next time. So
Yeah.
thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you in part 2.
Bye.
So last time we were talking about how Wednesday's intuition and Enid's intuition are so different.
Yes, very different.
Like Wednesday's so focused and Enid's so expansive.
Yeah, it creates a lot of those initial clashes.
Exactly. Yeah. But you were saying that it gets really interesting when we start looking at their auxiliary functions.
Right, because that's where we start to see how the intj and the enfp
Okay.
really complement each other.
I like that.
Yeah, so Wednesday's auxiliary function is extroverted thinking or Tay.
Okay. So how does that play out? Like, how do we see that?
So Tay makes her very logical, very efficient,
Okay.
and a master planner.
Yeah. She's always got a plan.
Always has a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see it in her investigations. You see it in her fencing practice.
Yeah. She's very structured and organized.
Very structured, yeah. And then Enid's auxiliary function
Okay.
is introverted feeling, or phi.
Okay.
And this means that she's deeply empathetic, she's values-driven,
Okay.
and incredibly loyal to her friends.
Which I think explains why she puts up with Wednesday.
Exactly. Yeah, why she's so persistent in trying to connect with Wednesday.
Even when Wednesday's like, go away.
Yeah, pushes her away. Yeah. And so this is where the T and the phi
Okay.
really start to like influence each other.
Okay.
Because Enid's strong phi actually helps Wednesday to develop her own phi,
Oh, interesting.
which for INTJs is often underdeveloped.
Okay.
Yeah, remember that scene where Enid transforms into a werewolf to protect Wednesday from the Hyde?
Oh my God. Yeah.
That is phi in action.
Yeah. That's so powerful.
It's such a powerful scene, and it's like a turning point for Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because seeing that fierce loyalty from Enid, her willingness to put herself in danger, for her friend, it just cracks open Wednesday's emotional armor.
Yeah.
And it allows her to connect with Enid
In a way that she hadn't before.
on a much deeper level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see a shift in Wednesday after that.
You do.
It's subtle, but she's definitely more open to Enid's affection.
Yeah. I love that, like, she doesn't completely change who she is.
Right.
You see that little softening.
Right. It's like Enid's warmth and empathy are
Yeah.
kind of melting that icy exterior.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, we also see how Wednesday's Ted helps Enid.
Oh.
Yeah. Because ENFPs with all that Ned energy,
Mm.
they can sometimes struggle to focus.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and Wednesday even calls Enid out on that a few times.
She does like being scattered and all over the
Yeah,
place.
it's like Enid focus.
Yeah.
But it's not hurtful. It's actually constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Wednesday's Ted is actually helping Enid to kind of channel her
Mm.
Nen in a more productive way.
So it's actually good for Enid to have Wednesday around
It is, yeah, for sure.
to kind of keep her on track a little bit.
Now, remember when they're trying to decipher the meaning of those cryptic messages they found?
Oh, yeah.
Enid throws out like a million possibilities.
A million, yeah.
But Wednesday's like, okay, let's analyze this. Let's discard what doesn't fit the evidence.
But be realistic.
Yeah, exactly. So Wednesday's teaching Enid to kind of refine her intuition
Right.
and to apply it in a more practical way.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it's this beautiful reciprocal relationship between their auxiliary functions.
I love that.
Enid's phi helps Wednesday to embrace her emotions,
Yeah.
and Wednesday's T helps Enid to develop that ability to focus and think strategically.
It's like they're both getting something that they need from the other person.
Exactly, yeah. They're providing that missing piece
Yeah.
that the other one needs to really grow.
And to become more well-rounded.
More well-rounded,
Yeah.
exactly. And this individual growth that they're each experiencing then translates into a much more effective partnership.
Oh, interesting.
Because those contrasting functions that we talked about,
Yeah.
which initially seem like a recipe for conflict,
Mhm.
actually become their secret weapon.
Okay, so like when they're working together, how does that actually play out?
So Wednesday's really good at the logic and the planning,
Okay.
and Enid brings this more intuitive and creative understanding.
Okay.
So it's like they each have a unique key that unlocks a different part of the puzzle.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and what's even more fascinating is that this dynamic also reflects like a deeper theme of duality and integration
Oh, okay.
within their own identities.
So tell me more about that.
So both Wednesday and Enid are, in their own ways, outsiders.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Wednesday embraces her darkness, her macabre interests,
Yeah.
and Enid struggles to accept her werewolf identity.
Right.
And through their relationship, they actually learn to embrace those aspects of themselves
Oh, wow.
that make them different.
So it's not just about like complementing each other's skills, but also like
Right.
accepting who they are as individuals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we see this most clearly, I think, in Enid's journey towards her first full transformation.
Right.
And what's interesting is how this kind of mirrors Wednesday's arc as well.
Okay.
Because as Enid learns to accept her werewolf side.
Okay.
Wednesday starts to accept her own emotional vulnerability.
So they're both kind of going through this process of self-acceptance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're supporting each other through it.
And it's happening in parallel. It's so interesting.
It is. It's very cool.
I love that.
And so this integration of these seemingly opposite natures is what ultimately makes them such a powerful pair,
Makes sense.
both as individuals and as partners.
Yeah.
But I think we should probably look at some specific scenes to really see how all this plays out.
I'm ready. Let's do it. Okay, so we've talked about all the cognitive functions, how they clash, how they complement each other.
Yeah,
But I really want to see it all in action.
me too.
So what are some scenes that really highlight all these dynamics?
Okay, so let's go back to the very beginning. To that first dorm room scene
Oh, yeah.
when Enid is like so excited decorating the room.
Yeah, like waiting for Wednesday to get there
Yes. And then Wednesday walks in.
with that face.
Yeah, totally unimpressed.
Yeah. Like, what is all this?
It's like classic ENFP enthusiasm,
Yeah.
just crashing headfirst into INTJ reservation.
Yes.
Enid's like bright colors, friendly gestures.
Yeah.
She's showcasing that nude. She wants to create this like welcoming atmosphere.
Right.
Right.
Connect. But Wednesday's like,
Wednesday wants to be alone.
leave me alone.
Yeah, she's probably already thinking about the mysteries of Nevermore.
Yeah. Got bigger fish to fry.
Yes, sees it all as a distraction.
But then we have that scene in the woods
Oh, yes.
when they get attacked by the hide.
That's a turning point.
It is. It's a big one.
You see their strengths working together.
Yeah, yeah.
Wednesday, with her quick thinking, she's got the escape plan,
Uh-huh.
but it's Enid's courage, that impulsiveness
Yeah.
that saves them.
She just jumps right in.
Oh, yeah, classic Fi, that empathy, that desire to protect her friend.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because Wednesday's over there, like, thinking about the plan.
Right?
And Enid's like, no, I'm just going to...
They got to do it.
I got to jump in.
Yeah.
You can tell that Wednesday's like,
A little bit impressed.
yeah, a little bit of respect there.
Yeah.
So they get through that together. And then we have that birthday party.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, my God.
a birthday party.
Enid trying to throw a party for Wednesday.
ENFP,
Yeah, it's so sweet. And Wednesday's just like,
get this away from me.
oh, so much noise, so many people.
But she comes around.
She does, a little bit.
Yeah. And I think that speaks to
Yeah.
Enid's like persistence, like her warmth.
Right, that Fi just like
It's wearing Wednesday down.
breaking down those walls, yeah.
And then you see the flip side of that too, with Wednesday helping Enid
Oh, yeah.
with the werewolf
Or
stuff.
transformations.
Yeah, she's so out of control in the beginning.
They're all over the place. And Wednesday helps her like focus that energy.
Yeah, gives her some structure,
Yeah,
a little teak.
some tips.
And then we see it all come together, right?
Climax. Yeah.
In the end, with the big battle.
Yes. Wednesday's got the strategy. Enid's got that intuitive understanding of the supernatural world.
And they just work together
They do.
like a perfect little machine.
It's great.
Yeah, so what do you think are like the biggest takeaways from all of this?
I think the biggest thing for me is it's a reminder that our differences,
Mm-hmm.
the things that might cause friction,
Yeah,
those can actually be sources of strength.
like Wednesday and Enid.
Yeah, like Wednesday and Enid.
They wouldn't be as effective without each other.
Exactly.
It's about finding people who compliment you,
Yes.
who challenge you, who push you out of your comfort zone.
Who help you grow.
Yeah. So if you're out there, struggling with a relationship,
Yeah.
or maybe feeling like you don't quite fit in,
Don't be afraid to embrace those differences. Yes. And you never know.
you never know.
You might find your own golden pair out there.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Wednesday and Enid.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
And until next time, keep exploring those personality dynamics.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.